Okay, guys, this is going to be a very odd attempt at streaming today. So we are going to watch an old Squishy Gardner video that took place a few miles from my house at this point. And yes, I do not care today. I am sick if you can't hear it. I don't think it's going to work over there, but we shall see in a second. It seems like there's 7 people watching, so that's exciting. All right, let's bring this up and start this nonsense. Let's share screen. And bang, let's do that. And let's, well, you know what? Let's just say F that side for a second because that's just being too difficult. And let's go.
All right, so Mr. Crucell, you filed a number of motions. I'm going to let you pick which one you want to deal with first.
This first motion to stay needs to address the request for the judicial bias and the process violation.
Okay, just hold off with the argument. Hold off with the argument. The question was, what do you want to start with? Okay, so you filed something Friday. I took a quick look at it today. Is that any different than the motion to stay that you filed previously?
This is just bringing the fact that all the motions I filed.
Is that a yes or no, Mr. Crucell?
It's covering all the judicial bias.
Okay, listen to my question. Is it any different than the last motion to stay proceedings you filed? Okay, give me what you've added since the last one, because this one I haven't had a chance to read fully. The first one I read fully.
I just have the stage on.
Okay, so it didn't start the way I wanted it to, but because Tyrants Beware is doing something, he said he's going to transition his entire page to Rumble. I'm trying to be more Rumble on that side too, so I'm also streaming to Rumble now. So if you guys want to or have a Rumble, follow me over there, subscribe to me. It's literally KFARYT on the old Rumble. So yeah, that's what we were doing.
You didn't give a shit about what I have to say.
Okay, hold on. Listen, Mr. Crucell, this is going to be a very long day for you if you don't listen to my questions and answer my questions. That was in the original motion to stay proceedings. I've asked you to give me whatever's new in this motion.
New stuff covers just agreeing telling me to sue the Secretary of State rather than addressing the due process violations in my case.
Okay, stop right there. How does that lead to why this should be stopped today?
All of this is stemming from where all of this should have been stopped a while ago.
That's not the way it works. Mr. Crucell, hold on. Okay, that's the last time you're going to interrupt me today without a contempt of court charge. Is that clear? Is that clear?
She answered me this entire time. No one has made her answer that.
One more word, and it's contempt of court. It's $100 a contempt, and if I get totally fed up with it, then I'm putting you in jail. Okay? Just because she and I happen to agree on the law as it applies to your case doesn't mean we're in collusion. It's possible that you're wrong. At least accept the possibility that she and I have the same opinion about something. That doesn't mean we're colluding. You understand that concept? Do you understand that concept?
You're supposed to be impartial.
I am impartial. I've been trying to save you. Just because I agree with the prosecutor doesn't mean against you. It just means I agree with the prosecutor.
So you're lying against us.
So that means any case when I buy the argument from one side, that means colluding against the other.
You're agreeing.
Yes or no, Mr. Crucell? No, you have to answer my question. Contempt number 1, $100. Answer my question. Every time I rule in favor of one side, does that mean I'm colluding against the other? Yes or no? $200. Yes or no? Because I can do this all damn day. And when I get tired of this game, then I tell them to put you in custody because it's contempt of court, criminal contempt in my view. It is. All right. So now, any argument from there, I'm going to deny because
let's knock this down.
That's the reason position you're taking.
I realized that I was streaming this the best possible that I could, and we just don't need that.
Judges, by definition, have to decide in favor of one party or the other. That's what we do.
When you made that statement, you were making.
What statement is that? I thought we were talking about Judge Green's SOS statement.
When you made the statement that you were setting aside my regular trial, saying that you're saying that the prosecutor, the township, and his court all see things the same way, setting it all aside, not even allowing me to make my argument. So you were aligning yourself with the prosecution on the argument of my point and setting it aside, and what you were doing.
Mr. Cassell, what I was doing was aligning myself with the law as I see it and interpret it. Stop. You can't just shake your head. You don't just disagree with me and move on. If you don't like a ruling from a judge, you have to appeal that ruling. You don't keep arguing with the ruling. That's not the way the process works. Listen, brother, listen. I have tried to save you from yourself. If you remember the first time you were in my courtroom, I tried to get you to see things the way the process was going to move forward. Because, dude, this process is going forward the way I want it to move forward. You might not like that, but I'm in charge of the courtroom. And at the end of the day, if you don't like anything I do, you can appeal me. That's why they have circuit courts. But I'm not going to let you make this a dog and pony show, especially when we've got jurors here.
Dog and pony show. This court has failed to let me make any of my statements, any of my cases. You even were trying to threaten me with contempt. Anytime I tried to...
I am threatening you with contempt. No, because third contempt. Do not interrupt me. When I said your objections don't mean shit to me, is because you were using the word objection inappropriately. You objected every time I disagreed with you. If you have an objection, you have to have a legal basis for the objection. For example, she's trying to put a video into evidence, and you say, I object, Judge. She hasn't laid a proper foundation because all she said is, Judge, I've got a video. I'd like to play it for the jury. That's a proper legal objection. When I rule in her favor and you say I object and I say, what's your objection? And you just disagree with me, that's not a legal objection. That's why I said your objections mean shit to me, because you're not using the word appropriately.
So this is the one thing I do love about, what's his name, Judge Oakley at this point. Again, Romulus is literally a stone's throw away from my house. But he's one of the most plain speaking judges that I think I've showed on my channel. Judge Simpson's another one. Judge Slavin's another one. But he just kind of just says whatever's on his mind. And also, if two people who are educated on the law agree with the law as it's written, just because they agree with each other doesn't mean they're colluding. It means they're both educated in the law and go, the law says this, we're going to believe the law, not some random sovereign citizen sitting in court.
Because you don't know what you're doing. That's what I tried to tell you originally the first time you were here. You've never been to law school. You've never tried a case. You don't know the rules of evidence and all the other things that have to be in play to have a trial go forward appropriately, properly, and, to be perfectly honest, in your best interest.
Your Honor, again, you're trying to spin the stereotype.
I'm not spinning.
Based on you stopping, not allowing me to do it. And that's what you told me when you addressed me.
Okay. All right. So let's do it this way. What motion would you like to address first? The motion to postpone? Denied. I'm not denying the jury trial.
Especially with the jurisdiction, she's never once permitted on the why it's on the prosecutor to approve those things. But there's the false words and irregularities.
All right, let me stop you for a minute. What do you mean you're not going to proceed? You're here.
Everything is taking place now shows exactly that there is enough to show. You're supposed you need to keep.
Once again, you're not answering the question I asked. You just said.
Can somebody check for me if that's the real broken system, broken trust or not?
That you will not participate. And I asked, what do you mean by that? I'm not asking you to explain your reasoning. I want to know, what does that mean? I'm not going to proceed with this. You're here. So when I impanel the jury, what? You're just going to sit there and not going to talk? What does it mean when you say you're not going to participate?
And go through until these things get addressed. All of my issues that have been ignored this entire time, especially excluding people.
Once again, if and I deny it, it's been addressed. You might not like the way it's been addressed, but then you have to appeal it.
That's the whole point of me getting all my objections.
All right, what's your objection? What's your objection to me denying your motion to postpone this trial at the last minute?
I'd like to put on the record that if whatever you would like to do from there, you can, because I'm open until these things. Like I said,
Hold on. Is this statement preceding all these motions you filed? Okay, then let me make my ruling on all of them. I think there was a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction, correct? Okay. Would you like to respond to that one? Because I think that's already been addressed.
The police arrested Mr. Crusoe while he was in Huron Township, but if our district court has jurisdiction over offenses that occur within the township, both civil and criminal, this is criminal means focus.
Did you appeal Judge Green's decision on that motion?
I'm in the process of it because I've been in contact with the appeals.
Okay, so there's no appeal filed yet, correct?
Getting all involved.
I'll take that as a yes. There's no appeal filed. That motion is denied then. She made the ruling. You don't get to ask me to make the same ruling. Once again, don't interrupt me because I can go to 4 real quick. Judge Green, a judge in this court, ruled on that exact motion and denied your motion. That motion has not yet been appealed, and it certainly doesn't get appealed to me. Is that clear?
Yes.
Thank you. Next motion. Motion to...
The judge can't just come in here and say that there's.
Yes, the judge can. Listen to me. Then appeal her to circuit court. A judge made a ruling. You don't get to keep arguing that same motion.
All she said was that Judge Martin was setting aside and that I should go sue the Secretary of State. The things that she's claiming and saying were never said to me. And anybody, I have all the recordings and they're submitted to the court. These things were never said to me. And then she comes in here and makes these accusations and saying that the judge said this, the judge said that.
Fine. Then I'll say the same. I'll say the same thing to you. Listen to me. Here on your motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction, denied. By me, you can appeal me because the reason she stated, the Township of Huron issued you a citation. This court has jurisdiction over citations issued by the Township of Huron. So for that reason, I'm prepared to move forward and adjudicate that citation. Is that clear enough so you can appeal my decision?
Fine.
Okay. Next one up is motion to reconsider for bias and judicial misconduct. Denied. Would you like me to clarify that in any way?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And this is a drum that this sovereign citizen keeps beating until the very end of the video. He keeps going over. The judge already went over. Yes, me agreeing with the prosecutor isn't bias. It's she knows the law and you don't. That's why I'm agreeing with her. And instead of saying, yes, judge, you're correct, I'm a sovereign citizen, I'm an idiot, he goes, no, it must be bias and judicial misconduct. And again, he's going to beat that for another hour.
Okay. Then guess what? The Court of Appeals can overturn me because I'm not biased to you. You might not like the way I talk to you. You might not like the things I say to you, but I'm not biased against you. Believe it or not, brother, I would like to save you from what's going to happen today. I really would. Because here's my dude, let me talk. You have turned what should be a fairly minor misdemeanor and civil infraction situation into a huge mess. I don't think it's going to end well for you. I tried to save you from that the first day you were here when I tried to convince you to have some conversation with a court-appointed attorney, and you didn't want to do all that. I know in my heart of hearts, I have no ill feeling towards you whatsoever, and I'm going to give you the best trial I can give you today if you decide to participate. But I am not going to let you drag things in front of this jury that I determine are not relevant because that's my job as the gatekeeper after the judge over the trial. I'm not going to let you get into a bunch of arguments that I think are just going to cloud issues if I don't think they're relevant. That's my job as the judge, not because I don't like Mr. Crusoe. It's because my job as a judge is to run this trial efficiently and effectively. And I'm going to do that. And if I do that, I anticipate I'm going to step all over your toes and your beliefs. But that doesn't mean I don't like you or I have bias against you. So I am denying your motion to recuse myself. Anything else you want to put on the record so you can appeal that decision? Once again, stop. That's an improper use of an objection. What you want to say is, I disagree with that, which is fine. That's why you appeal it to the circuit court. But it's not an objection. What's your legal objection to my ruling? That's not a legal objection to a ruling. That's not a legal objection. So that's 2 motions down. The next one is motion for relief from judgment. I'm assuming that's Judge Martin's decision to set aside your defaults. All right. Do you really want me to grant that motion? Because if I grant your motion, that means the default that was set aside, defaults that were set aside are reinstated. Is that really what you want today?
Well, listen, the thing is what I'm saying.
Mr. Purcell, yes or no? You filed a motion asking me to set aside a decision that was made. Do you really?
Ed, I agree with you. Not only did he need to speak into the mic, the prosecutor chimes in a few times, and she also is talking from way back here, and you can barely hear. It's either they're not talking loud enough or the mics are just crappy, which is crazy because I'm assuming those microphones probably cost a ton more than my microphone, and you can hear probably the crickets cricketing or whatever the hell chirping outside.
You want me to set that decision aside? Because that means those civil infractions are then in default and they're done. Is that a yes or no? Yes or no? Do you want me to set aside those default do you want me to set aside the default set asides? Do you want me to reinstate those default judgments? Then I'll deny that motion. All right. You filed something called Notice of Constitutional Rights, which I didn't see anything where it required me to make any decisions or anything else. You're just letting me know that you're standing on the Constitution? So am I. All right. The emergency stay we dealt with. You also file an affidavit of non-consent. You didn't need to file paperwork for me to know you didn't consent with the proceedings, but I got the message there. Was that the only message I was supposed to get out of that document?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't need a preachy moment. I just want to make sure I wasn't supposed to get anything else out of that affidavit other than you don't like the process that we're involved in. Next thing I had on my.
So this is, I'm going to cut in again, but it's funny to me that every sovereign citizen at this point sounds exactly the same. And just like BSBT, if the real one's still here, they don't ever want to answer questions. It's, hey, this is my question. The answer is yes or no. And instead of saying yay or nay, they want to completely change the subject and then go off on a tangent that means nothing to the question. And it's kind of hilarious to me because it's like they want to pretend that they know so much about the law and they can just school any judge or attorney. But then when they get into the actual situation, they want to completely bust the system and talk about something else.
My list was affidavit of non-consent. Oh, excuse me. Motion for judicial notice. What does that judicial notice of what?
Certain terms that everything that this prosecutor keeps trying to use and apply in this case that are not the law terminology being used. Okay.
For example.
You use motor vehicle.
Okay. Motor vehicles pretty much a term of art in our business.
Law differences between how it's being used. Absolutely.
Well, then you can make those arguments, but you can't tell her she can't use that phrase. Yeah, but I'm not the trier of fact. So if you want to make an argument to the jury that her use of the term motor vehicle is improper.
No, Ed, what you have to do is wear a Detroit Lions blue t-shirt to court. That's what Josh does. That's what everybody does. It's a losing t-shirt, and I love it. Also, he's trying to quote Black's Law Dictionary 2nd edition without quoting Black's Law Dictionary 2nd edition. Also, as of 2024, I should have put this update out many, many moons ago. I thought you just said something about me being muted, Jay Carr. You freaked me out. As of 2024, we have moved on from Black's Law Dictionary 11th edition, and now we're in the 12th edition. Yet they're still using the 2nd edition because it's free online.
You can make that argument. Is that what you're concerned about? Is you're not going to be able to make the argument?
Yes.
You what stuff on the record?
Filings.
Well, I can guarantee you're not getting all these filings on the record because the jury has no reason to know about all your motions.
All of this has to go. Everything that's taking place.
No.
Exactly.
No, that's not the way it works, Mr. Cazell. No, Mr. Cazell. All right, listen, brother, listen. You don't get to tell me what my job is. I've been doing it for 25 years. Listen. Well, then that's why they have appellate courts for the 4th or 5th time. I decide what this jury gets to see today. I decide. That is, by definition, the role of the judge at a jury trial. I get to decide what goes in front of that jury. If you don't like the decisions I make, you appeal those decisions. That's the way it works. What this jury has to decide today is whether or not you violated the township ordinance on that date. Hold on. None of these legal arguments about whether or not I should recuse myself or whether or not you noticed me up for constitutional rights, none of that has to go to that jury. And none of it's going to.
And that's my other issue with fraud and my emergency stop, motion to stop this.
I already ruled on that.
Certain back, acknowledge my motions for my next travel. Nothing to do.
Once again, I'm not trying to, I'm doing my function as a gatekeeper for a jury trial. I'm deciding what's relevant and what's not. And you can disagree with me that all day long. But we're going to do it, once again, we're going to do it my way. You can appeal me. I've been appealed before. I'll probably be appealed before I retire again. It's okay. That's the way the process is set up. I encourage you to appeal me. All right? I am open-minded enough to think that perhaps my mindset about your whole travel, whole thing, maybe that's all wrong. So a circuit court judge can tell me I'm wrong. But so far, and I've ruled this way a number of times on the traveling issue, nobody's ever appealed me to lead to a circuit court judge to tell me I'm wrong. But I'm open to that idea.
I've said, well, you just keep, each judge has done the same thing. They just keep setting it aside. In fact, it doesn't even exist, not allow me to make my case, which is violating my rights to be able to produce my case in my end.
What's your case that traveling doesn't mean operating?
I'm said, in fact, this court's violated my due process rights in every way, the judicial bias. And
All right, then appeal me. But today we're having a jury trial.
An unlawful jury trial, and I think that late statement I need to get on the record.
Right, but hold on a minute. Once again, I want to know what that means. You're not participating.
Not participate in a jury in a trial where there's clear bias in this court against it.
Okay.
Violates my rights to a fair trial. 100%. And you want to keep overlooking them. I know they make you seem like they're not a big deal. And
No, your rights are a really big deal.
obviously not, because if you can sit there and say that the things that are happening, the things you're saying, and just try to give these excuses, just because I agree on this, you are aligning yourself with the prosecutor on my right to trial, completely setting aside, not allowing me.
No, I'm not.
Oh God, I know I was going to eventually break down and talk about this because I listened to it in the car. I had my earbud in and was listening to it in the car while I was running around today, trying to find new LED lights for my office that my cat decided to bite. But as soon as he said, "Oh, you're trying to do this to my right to travel," Sinise versus Roe popped into my head. And let me just, you know what, I'll play it and I'll find what Sinise versus Roe says. At this point, I should have it memorized since, I've quoted it in like 40 videos, but I'm going to let him play. I'm going to pull that up and then I'm going to stop and read what your actual right to travel means.
Listen to me. No, it's not. Listen to me. Listen to me. She could step out of the room, and I still think your travel argument is bullshit. Traveling. The right to travel was when you did it by Shanks Mare. Then appeal me. That's my decision.
All right, so your right to travel, which was decided, what the right to travel was decided as. So we're going to quote Judge Stevens, who was writing for the majority, found that although the right to travel was not explicitly mentioned in the Constitution, the concept was firmly embedded in our jurisprudence. He described the three components to the right to travel. 1, the right to enter one state and leave another. The right to be treated as a welcome visitor rather than a hostile stranger. And for those who want to become permanent residents, the right to be treated equally to native-born citizens. At no point does that say, I can hop in my fucking toaster with wheels, drive without a license, insurance, registration, and then say, oh, it's my right. It's in the Constitution. It's fucking not. So eat a dick. I don't even remember what this guy's name is.
Appeal me. When you're driving a motorized vehicle or traveling in a motorized vehicle, that brings all those ordinances into play. That's my legal ruling. Appeal it. I encourage you to do that. But that whole traveling argument, which, dude, I've been through that argument a whole lot more than you have. Trust me, in the last 25 years, I've had that argument a lot. Traveling, as you try to apply it, meant You could not be stopped by the government from walking from one venue to another. But when we got motorized, then the rules kicked in.
Court rulings from the American jurisprudence side that literally state that yes, first of all, you're allowed, and including automobiles, as long as one does not interfere with another's rights. And this is something that is not to be secure.
Then appeal me. Take that precedent and appeal me.
As well.
Okay, that's your right.
This is why, in my opinion, that he won't appeal it, or it won't be at all even looked at. He's going to appeal this. They're going to say, oh, you have the right to travel? No, you fucking don't. Appeal denied. That's what's going to happen if he tries to appeal this case.
I'm not trying to stop you from doing any of that stuff. I'm just trying to stop you from bogging down this jury with stuff that I've determined is not appropriate today.
And whoever brought up P. Diddy, do you know what company or what what group won't appeal him or won't, condemn him? Whoever is the maker of baby oil, they probably want to sponsor that man.
Because just because you're determining it based off of what though? As I'm saying, all these things are relevant and they are accurate.
They're relevant to you. They're not relevant to me. I've made the decision. I have made the decision. I made that decision months ago and you didn't appeal that.
I mean, the process is working out.
Which is not an appeal.
And he's going to quote a Supreme Court decision. My notebook's downstairs, so I'm drawing a blank on the year. I want to say it was like 1910 or like 1931. But he's going to quote a Supreme Court decision, which is one of the staples of why you don't have why you need a driver's license to drive. But he's going to quote it like it agrees with him.
Is an extreme, lawyer when there is you can't do that.
Absolutely, I do that.
100%.
No. Listen to me. If I don't hold you to the same standard I hold her to, then I'm treating you differently than her. How is that unbiased and impartial? You've decided to engage yourself in this venue, in this arena. That means you got to know the jury structure. Yes, you have.
I'm forced to be here.
But you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to do it as an untrained layperson. You had free access to qualified, competent legal counsel. They're still here. There's one right there behind you. He's still ready to help you. You chose to do this yourself. That means you've got to know the court rules. You've got to know the statutes and the ordinances. You've got to know the rules of evidence. And if I help you through those lapses in your knowledge base, that's not fair to the prosecutor. Then I'm taking sides. And now I'm not going to let her walk all over you and try to trick you because you don't know some of those rules and statutes. But I am absolutely going to require you to know what you're doing because you've chosen to do it. That doesn't show bias. That shows impartiality.
There is no partial anything. I have the.
Once again, Mr. Crusoe, that's your opinion. No, it's your interpretation of the facts. So you have to appeal my decisions. And look, dude, the fact that you're not in a jail cell right now shows how impartial I am.
When Officer Price literally pulled up to meet my wife 8 days before any of this even happened and talked to us about the traveling, even told me I was well within my rights, gave me every clarification that I was well within my lawful rights. This was all a retaliatory thing from the beginning. And then
Okay, so he's claiming it's retaliatory, and he'll go into that in a second. But how many times have we watched in videos where cops show up with like sovereign citizen frauditor calls, and they go, "Oh yeah, you definitely have the right to travel," like as they're waiting for backup to get there, as they're running them for warrants, and then they give them tickets or arrest them and say, "Don't do that again." Turns out officers will agree with you just to be cordial to move the shit along. We've seen it in hundreds, thousands, if not tens of thousands of videos at this point, where an officer, bailiff, judge will just humor you. And he doesn't understand that. He thinks, oh yes, this deputy or officer, I forgot which one he said, saying, yeah, you definitely have the right to travel. Or this guy just doesn't understand sarcasm, which would be even better.
even when the chief called me, he even called me trying to over I was like, what's that over me? And then he goes to a motor vehicle. And then he tries to get me to not pursue legal matters, and then he's mad at me. And then the day that I file for my body cam, I'm getting removed from here on a Little League.
And stop. Hold on. I don't doubt that it is. But I think we got into this a little.
Carl, you nailed it right on the head. So, in my opinion, the moment this guy went down this road, the judge should have not held him in contempt and fined him $100 a pop. No, he should have said, okay, contempt of court, you're going to go to jail, you're going to receive a competency evaluation. And when you want to stop playing fucking games and wasting resources, you can come back. Because right now he's got the judge wrapped up in this, the prosecutor wrapped up in this, the bailiffs that keep showing up. I think there's like 1 or 2 or 3 there at this point. And they have a whole jury trial set to go. The jury, according to him, I don't know if he got into it, but I'll spoil it, has been there for like an hour and some change at this point, waiting for the sovereign citizen to pull his head out of his ass. So he's wasting everyone's time and money to argue something that the judge decided months ago. Apparently this started in February and they ruled on a bunch of stuff then. So almost 6 months, this guy's been just wasting everyone's time. Just hold him in contempt, put him in a cell and say, whenever you want to be an adult, you can come back.
A little bit the first time you were here, and I told you that's not proper for this venue. If you want to complain about the way the Huron Township Police Department handled this, you can file a civil lawsuit against them if you want to. But what's in front of me is 1 civil infraction and 2 misdemeanors. That's what's in front of me.
Oh, every time I force it to make my case, the court just keeps setting all my stuff and not allowing me to be heard.
Because I'm going to make decisions based on the facts. That jury hopefully is going to make decisions based on the facts that are presented.
How can it be facts if this court continues to not allow me to get my facts?
Because the facts you want to get into, what facts do you want to get into? The chief had some conversation with you?
It's not even just that. I mean, well, yeah, regardless, I have all of that too. In fact,
Yvonne Kush Queen gifted 20 memberships. Thank you, and I appreciate it as always. Thank you. Dang, a lot of people got some memberships. All of those jurors sitting around wanting to go home. 1,000. I am probably you guys can probably do this in the chat. And I know really don't put a 1 in the chat, put a 2 in the chat. But I know most people don't want to do jury duty. I would love to do jury duty, but I don't think because of what I've done in my life, I don't think I would be able to serve on a jury. But I would love to do it. I don't think any of those people want to actually be there to do that.
finding effects based off what I was doing. I didn't have to produce any of that. It just keeps all just thrown aside. Every single bit, and just not even trying to acknowledge any of it.
So hold on. I don't understand. Hold on. You want to be able to testify to this jury?
No, it's not. I'm not testifying. That's what I'm saying. It's the amount of judicial bias in this case.
I'm done hearing about bias. You need to appeal me. I don't feel I have bias.
Well, I don't feel that I would have a fair trial here with everything that's been taken place by the final policy. Why did we?
And I've denied all these things.
Well, of course you can deny it. Again, showing again that this.
Once again, Mr. Cruzel, just because I disagree with you doesn't mean I'm biased against you. Maybe I just think you're wrong. Is it possible we could have a difference of opinion?
Ed, between working at a police department, doing all the paperwork for a jail, having a degree in criminal justice, doing military stuff, having all of my family be cops, I think no one would want me to be a juror at this point.
Tina Green told me that she was just not acknowledging herself because the Secretary of State will make sure that this isn't a big deal. I'm showing them.
I'm not going to.
It's no impartial support here.
I've never brought a Secretary of State, have I?
So this is where this all stems from. These are the things I've been trying to get noticed. This and talked about this.
What do you want getting noticed that we're not getting noticed?
The fact that this is collusion.
It is not collusion. What? All right, listen. What are you going to do today? Because I'm ready to bring the jury in. I've denied all your motions. I'm ready to set the trial. Are you not going to be here?
Your Honor, nothing is even put in here, right? And it's especially regarding the jurisdiction stuff.
Once again, we're at $300 now. We're going to $400. I'm going to ask you the question again. I'm ready to call the jury. Are you going to leave?
There's no way they're going to be here trial here.
That didn't answer my question. I need to know how I'm going to proceed because we can have the trial if you just sit there. I'll just tell the jury you've decided to represent yourself and you might not say anything today. So that's the way you want to go with the trial.
I do. So it's against that.
Okay.
Everything is on.
Okay. Okay. No, let's on the record as you feel they should be.
I brought the sites that I left the sites at home and bring up the person's jurisdiction.
And hold on. Once again, I want to just, because he just walked in the room. Once again, I want to let you know there's a very competent, experienced legal attorney here, defense attorney here, that's more than willing to help you with this if you want his help.
Jay, I 1000% agree with you. We're obviously going to watch it to the end because we're already 25 minutes in. But the more you get to the end, it's kind of like the judge is just done with dealing with him. But I would have immediately, once he did all this shit, do exactly what they did with Daryl Brooks. Say, you're going to shut up and do this like an adult. We're going to bring the jury in. If you want to mess up, we're going to send the jury out. But in this case, they could have held him in contempt because I believe it's 2 misdemeanors and the driving without a license or whatever. So it would have, he could have been held in contempt because he has the ability to leave. Where with Daryl Brooks, they didn't hold him in contempt because he was going to get life in prison for like running over a bunch of people and killing a bunch. So holding him in contempt would have just kicked the can down the road for 15 days, 30 days, 90 days. And nobody was trying to do that. But with this guy, 30 days is going to be a big penalty because I don't think he would be facing 30 days in general. Carl, if I could get on the BSBT jury, I would. But he was already supposed to have a jury trial in Taylor with Judge Shackelford, and he decided to run to a completely different state when that happened.
On the sport, actually, who is supposed to be.
And that ain't going to happen.
Anybody showing you're supposed to.
Erica, if I was asked to be on that jury, which I'm in a different city, so I wouldn't be, I would literally wear a fake mustache and fake glasses and be like, oh, I'm not K-Far. I should be on the jury.
And I don't think I've shown bias. That's what we keep. Once again, you and I disagree. That's okay. That's America. You have to appeal me. You don't just keep to argue. You don't get to argue the same thing over and over and over until
Oh. Well, what did I do? Oh, I took it out of full screen because I hit the F key. Dang you, Facty. I was trying to say hello and it nuked the whole stream.
I agree. It's not going to happen. I know I am not biased towards you. I also know that your ideas of how the law applies and mine are vastly different. But because I'm in the black robe and I'm in charge of this trial today, my ruling stands until a circuit court judge or some higher court tells me I'm wrong. That's just the reality of it.
That's what I have to do. Because greatness, of course, not going to rule it the way it's supposed to. Not going to stand by your
And not by your definition, I'm not.
Secretary of State, Attorney General, and you have never heard anything. You can go through lawfully conceded it. You can say that again. It's been proven on the record.
No, it doesn't need to be proven on the record. Show me a statute or a court rule in Michigan that says I got to prove that. Statute, Michigan statute, or Michigan court rule says I've got to do that.
Maybe I have it in there. My father was in smoking.
So you're such a great legal scholar.
MCL 168.420 and MCL 168.467 mandates that the judge must file with the state, and you provided one X. That is what you have to ensure.
Okay, then I don't have it. You can file that motion to dismiss with circuit court.
So again, everything that he just read, yeah, shave my beard and mustache, nobody would recognize me. You're not wrong. I don't think anybody on YouTube has seen me without a beard or mustache. Yeah, everything he just read, the Michigan court rules, the statutes for Michigan, none of them said he has to read every single motion that this guy supplies to the jury while they're there.
But we're having a trial today.
We're going to have Bob going to participate in a trial that's going to be impartial against them, right? It's going to be completely. There is no impartiality that you're supposed to be. There cannot be a fair trial for all of the amounts of time.
Next.
Okay.
Anything else you want to put on the record before I call the jury in?
Yeah, lengthy statement I would love to put on the record before we get.
How lengthy?
Minutes.
Go ahead.
Respectfully,
Just so you know, you're putting this on the record. You're putting this on the record. I'm not listening. Showcase record.
The judge literally walks off while this guy's trying to make a record because it's fucking pointless. I don't know on Rumble if I'm even allowed to swear, but Rumble, don't be mad at me over there. YouTube already hates me, but he's going to read this, and he's still going, and the judge just isn't there.
Judgment. These motions have raised significant concerns about the court's jurisdiction, judicial bias, and violations of due process under both the Michigan Constitution and the U.S. Constitution, particularly the 5th and 14th Amendments. I have also submitted affidavits and motions, including an affidavit of truth and an affidavit of rebuttal regarding the traffic stop by Officer Merrill, which is connected to this case on August 21st, 2023. Citation number 24HR 101-430, which this court also ignored. These documents directly challenge the jurisdiction of the state in this court, and failure to address them constitute a violation of due process rights.
To my knowledge, Rumble will literally hit you. Oh, cool. Well, all right. Well, then over there. I don't know if I missed it already, but the prosecutor stated exactly why they have jurisdiction. And now he's claiming they didn't say that, which is comical because, again, it's on YouTube.
Additionally, I have filed an affidavit of not consent, a motion for judicial notice, a motion for clarification of accuser, none of which may be outside the court. In Marbury v. Madison 5 U.S. 137, the U.S. Supreme Court clearly established that any law repugnant to the Constitution is void. I believe the action for lack thereof of the court violate fundamental constitutional principles. In Murdoch v. Pennsylvania 319 U.S. 105, the court reaffirmed that no state may impose fees or penalties for exercising a constitutional right. And Thompson v. Smith 150.
First off, yes, they said that, but driving is a privilege. You don't have a right to travel. I just read what the right to travel means. And then he tries to say, oh yes, Thompson v. Smith says that you don't need a driver's license to drive, even though it states that the state, via the 10th Amendment, can require you to have a driver's license. Like Thompson v. Smith is one of the staple landmark cases that say, yes, the state can require you to have a driver's license to drive. And this dumb sovereign citizen who doesn't read past what his guru sent him is now saying, yeah, no, it says you don't need a driver's license. Like, yeah, no, it doesn't.
5. Reinforce the fundamental right to travel freely without undue interference. Additionally, Title 5 U.S.C. 556B, 557, and 706 require that any judicial or administrative proceeding be fair, free from bias, and based on factual evidence. I have serious concerns that this court has disregarded this evidence. I have serious concerns this court has disregarded these principles, given its pattern of dismissing my motions and statements made by Your Honor, who has stated on record that we see things the same way, referring to the prosecutor, township, state, and this court. This admission clearly demonstrates judicial bias and lack of impartiality, which undermines the fairness of these proceedings. It is also significant that Judge Tina Green has admitted in court that the Secretary of State is influencing the rulings, stating that the court is required to enforce certain rulings because of the Secretary of State makes them do so. This further
Secretary of State has no power over Judge Oakley. They don't. They literally do what Secretary of State does. Oh, you need a driver's license? Oh, fill out this paperwork. We'll take your picture. That's what Secretary of State does. Because the state required you to have a driver's license doesn't mean the judge is being, strong-armed by Secretary of State.
demonstrates that this court is not acting as an impartial judicial body, but is enforcing motor vehicle codes, other rulings based on external directives rather than applying the law independently. The Secretary of State is an executive branch agency, and his influence over judicial proceedings is a violation of the separation of powers and the constitutional right to an independent, fair trial. Furthermore, there is clear evidence of collusion between the sport prosecutor, Huron Township, including the Huron Township Police Department. I have submitted body cam footage highlighting violations of department policies by several officers, including Officer Merrill, Officer Side, Officer Smith, and Chief Everett Robbins. These violations occurred even after Sergeant Price confirmed that my activities were lawful. Yet this court continues to overlook them.
If there is a policy that states officers may not play rock, paper, scissors at a traffic stop, that doesn't invalidate the fact that you were driving without a license. So him saying, oh, they broke department policies, that doesn't mean you can drive without a license.
These crucial facts. Officer Merrill's traffic stops of both myself and my wife are connected to the ongoing retaliation against me and my family, which has compounded the bias and misconduct in this case.
if they know who you are, which it seems like they do, and they run your name and says, oh, they don't have a license, and they see you driving, you can be involved with the biggest drug case ever. You're still driving without a driver's license, therefore you can be pulled over for it. Or if you were speeding and they pull you over and go, oh, Steve still doesn't have his driver's license. Congratulations. That's a fine way to pull somebody over and give them a ticket. Good evening, KMMB.
Additionally, I request your honor's oath of office through an affidavit of fact. Legislation statement, demand request pursuant to the Foreign Agent Registration Act of 1938 and the anti-bribery statement request. And I have received no response. This lack of response raises further questions about the legitimacy and legal standing of this court. Moreover, Judge Lisa Norton issued an unsigned default order without jurisdiction or court seal, and during court proceedings, she admitted she did not understand the sui juris. These actions reflect further incompetence and violations of due process. I must also address the township's deliberate attempt to mislabel my private automobile as an off-road vehicle under local ordinance to circumvent our constitutional right to travel. This mislabeling is an attempt to subject me to commercial regulations that do not apply to private, non-commercial travel. This ORV ordinance was never intended for public roads. Under the Federal Trust Code, verse United States 318 U.S. 363, when government entities operate in a commercial capacity, they lose sovereign immunity and are subject to the same legal standards as private corporations. The court's actions, including the misapplication of commercial motor.
Yvonne Kush Queen for 10 memberships. Thank you. Team Skeptic has videos of his arrest. Oh, God, now I'll have to go look. Yeah, nobody's going to understand, oh, I need to see your oath of office. I'm a judge and it's public record. Like, go find it. Also, oh, they're trying to label my motor vehicle an off-road vehicle. Dude, like you were driving. You were caught driving. Your car, your truck, your motor vehicle, your toaster with wheels. Like, it's not private property. If you want to drive without a license, without registering your car, without getting it plated, without insurance, keep that shit on your private property where you can do that. The moment you hit the roadway, all of these things now apply to you. And he just wants to say, no, it doesn't, without actually giving anything accurate at all. It's like he's reading off a guru packet, or let's see here. Somebody just brought it up. Jonathan Wagner, Chat GPT is not a legal resource. If you type up, do I have the right to travel? Because I've done it before, a bunch of cases come up saying that you don't have the right to travel and you need a driver's license. But if you ask Chat GPT, do I need a driver's license to drive, blah, 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 obviously it's going to humor you. Like, that's what it does. It's going to try to find something as accurate to you as it can. And I've gotten random shit that they found on sovereign citizen websites. And it's like, well, that's not accurate. Thanks for trying, Chat GPT. Let's see. Oh, you think it's Skeptic's newest video? Now I have to go look.
Codes further demonstrate its commercial nature's misinterpretation of the law. The supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution, Article 6, Paragraph 2, mandates that this court is bound by the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. This court, however, continues to proceed without regard for constitutional protections, violating my rights at every stage of these proceedings. To continue under these circumstances would be a violation of my constitutional rights and an abuse of judicial power. I respectfully request that the court issue rulings on the pending motions, including a jurisdictional challenge, and immediately dismiss this case by citing overwhelming evidence of judicial misconduct, bias, and due process violations. So these issues remain ignored. I will seek immediate appellate relief, hold all parties accountable, including Your Honor, Judge Martin, Judge Tina Green, Prosecutor Caitlin Margaret Foley, Officer Miro, Officer Sai, Officer Smith, Chief Everett Robbins, and the Huron Township Police Department. I further assert that if this court continues to proceed under the presumption that I am engaged in commerce, it must present evidence to substantiate its claim. Without such evidence, this court has no authority to enforce commercial motor vehicle codes or ORV ordinances upon me, and any further actions be unconstitutional and unlawful.
So this is where we're lost. He's making the assumption that he wasn't driving in commerce, when in reality, that doesn't apply to this case whatsoever. You can push that off a cliff, it doesn't matter. You were driving on a roadway in their jurisdiction without a license. Seems like a pretty clear-cut case to me.
Unlawful.
All right, here to court district court back in session.
Bring the jurors in. Mr. Crucell, just so you understand the process, we're going to do voir dire. Did you have a chance to talk about the iPad?
No.
Hold on a minute, Joe.
Yeah, I told him I would go over it.
Okay. I understand that's your position, but I'm still going to explain things as they go. All right. I mean, I just want you to understand what's going on. So if you decide you want to jump in, you'll know where you're at. Understood? I'm not trying to talk you into participating. I'm just letting you know what's happening. I'm going to explain things as we go for you and them. You got that?
I suppose I don't understand why I need to sit here and take my time for an
Because if you leave, I'm going to issue a bench warrant and you're still going to have to deal with this down the road.
This goes back to the old saying that we've all said 50,000 times. If you don't think they have jurisdiction, why'd you show up? If you don't think they have jurisdiction, get up and leave. But if you notice, his ass is still sitting there.
At least this way, listen. Here, one of two things can happen today if we have the trial. Either they find you not guilty and you're done, then you can file all your grievances and stuff, or they find you guilty and you're just filing one more appeal.
Instead of wasting everyone's time.
You've already wasted their time because they're all here. They're all here.
Well, that's why I filed these things weeks ago. These things should have been addressed before this process even took place.
There's a scheduling issue that takes place too.
So
But hold on.
This judge was able to address every single one of his motions in less than an hour of the jury actually being there. And instead of saying, thank you, you addressed everything, I'm an idiot, let's move on, he's still trying to talk about it like they weren't already addressed.
Hold on. Don't interrupt. You didn't appeal the last round of decision. You didn't appeal the decision you didn't like from Judge Martin. You didn't appeal the decision you didn't like from Judge Green, and you didn't appeal the decision you didn't like from me last time you were here. So here's my problem. I'm not going to adjourn today because you say you're going to appeal, because if you don't, we've accomplished nothing and we're no further to resolving these files.
I've been in contact with the appeals court.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to educate you. Okay. You contacting the appellate court, first of all, this should go to the circuit court. All right. You've gone. Okay. So I didn't choose for you to be here, but you're here. Okay. So we have to get through it. All right. So the way it works is you don't just talk to them about an appeal. You actually file and perfect an appeal, but you didn't perfect the appeal. So there is no appeal. You started the process, but there is no appeal. So, Mike.
Oh no, I lost all hope. When I started my channel, I think I've talked about this before. When I started my channel, I thought maybe these guys just don't know the law or the actual information. And now that I'm in like year 4 of doing this, I realize that these people are willfully ignorant of the law, and they have some sort of, I don't know, authority defiance, like deficiency, where they know the law, they know they're in the wrong, but because they can't just comply without feeling like they're in charge, they have to use some mental gymnastics to find some half-baked piece or sentence of a Supreme Court decision to be like, oh yeah, this Supreme Court says this one sentence that I've mixed a bunch of words together to create. It says this, therefore I don't need a license to drive. And it's like, well, these cases all say the state can't require you to have a license. Why are you being an idiot? So I think they're either willfully ignorant or mentally like tyrants beware, where they have a head injury. I think those are the two things that go into this.
We're going to go forward today. The only question is, are you going to be in the chair or not?
No, again, if you were prevent for, I'll participate on one, correct?
Depending on what I set the bench warrant at. It can be whatever I want it to be. Once again, but see, you think that's bias, right? And that's me explaining to you the way the process works. I could set a $10,000 cash bail on this. And until a circuit court judge tells me that's got to be set aside, it's the bail. That's the bond I set if I set it. Because here's the thing. And I'm trying to, listen, dude, I'm trying to get you to see I've got a job to do. It's got nothing to do with you personally. All right, you keep bringing this, you know, I'm having so much trouble getting through to you. I'm thinking the next step is a competency exam.
So that fact that she told me that on the record in front of her, then, and in all the things that she's saying, the judge said, she never said that on the record. I have the record submitted. She
Well, once again,
wasn't doing this because of the Secretary of State.
then appeal Judge Green's decision. I've told you that at least 5 times today. If a district court judge makes a decision you don't like, you appeal it to the circuit court. You don't just keep arguing again. That doesn't get you any further along.
J Bull, exactly. So like Thompson v. Smith, it says something about being able to drive without a driver's license, and then it states specifically unless this or 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 this. And instead of reading the thing in its entirety, what's the old saying of hang up the phone when you get your answer? That's how they read Supreme Court decisions. If the first sentence says something, they stop reading and take that as, yep, this is what it's about. And then you read the next sentence, the next paragraph, the next 4 paragraphs, and it gives you the reasoning or the exceptions or things like that. They pretend that those don't exist. I've gone back and forth with sovereign citizens about Thompson v. Smith, and they're all the same. They're all like, well, it says this. And I'm like, well, it also says this, 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 and this. Which one's correct? Cherry picking a sentence or the guy who just quoted the entire case? Which one's correct?
So if you don't participate today, if you just sit there, that's fine. We'll have a trial. You can jump in if you want to. You don't have to. I mean, in any criminal trial, the defendant doesn't have to do anything.
Exactly like poster 7. Exactly.
But at each step of the game, I'm going to let you know what your options are. So for example, when we do voir dire, I'm going to ask questions of the prospective jurors. She's going to ask questions of the prospective jurors. You can ask if you want to. You don't have to. All right. When it's time to pick the jury, she has a certain number of challenges she can use. So do you. You don't have to exercise those challenges, but that's the way we pick the jury. Do you understand that process?
Marcus, I've been trying to get all this stuff established. Of course, the evidence that I'm trying to get from the township that they're using lead codes to redact, which they did with the policy information that I able and got them giving me the policy because they were trying to do things stuff.
Okay, stop right there. Hold on. Stop right there. Stop right there. That's something new evidence you're waiting for. What are you waiting for?
This is where I haven't got it to even get to.
No. Tell me what it is. What?
Evidence that was that I requested from FOIA's in the very beginning with my bottle camera.
No. But well, what is it? You're looking for some records, some ordinances? What?
Part of the traffic stuff, comments and things that were put in there that.
Hold on. In where?
In the comment.
You don't have police reports?
Well, I do, but I found out that they withheld certain documents that when I filed my FOIA, they didn't give to me. And then upon doing more filing for more stuff, I uncovered that they withheld certain documents. That are getting the whole thing.
Hold on. Let me hear what you guys say. Just hold on. Go ahead. Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
He's pointing things from the south notes and
You mean like the officer's personal notes? Had notes.
and for example, body on camera where they're sitting in their patrol car and the computer's on. Those are all main material that can't be discoverable. It can't be shared with people outside those that are have the security clearance to observe or handle the material. So that's what he's referring to.
Okay.
That's not what I'm referring to. The notes on the computers and stuff, that's not what there's even stuff that was in the body cam that when they were talking to the chief, that they purposely redacted out of the conversations and the notes that that are completely all redacted. It's nothing to do with computers. It has nothing to do with personal information and names or addresses. There were things that were stated in conversations that were taking place in these notes.
Let me stop you. During the traffic stop?
They withheld this when they should have given it to me in the very beginning with my FOIA for everything that's involved in my traffic stop. They didn't.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to clarify. Are you talking about like, how do I want to say this?
Janice, he didn't have weeks to respond to this information. I believe they said at the beginning that this case had been going on since February, is when I believe he last saw the judge. So for what, 7 months, almost 8 months, he's been doing nothing, it seems like.
Personal comments between two or more individuals.
No, it's not versus boundaries, it's the stuff that's logged through the traffic stop. Like,
No, stop. But I got to understand what you mean. Logged through the traffic stop. You mean it showed up on camera and then they edited the camera?
Yeah.
Or edited the recording?
as well. And there was no clear reason why. He's not trying to get reasons to why they did it, what it's next, because they're supposed to label why it is. I got anything. And then it's in the comments sections of like what was going on.
Hold on. Comments on the incident report?
It's not the incident report, it was through the, while the traffic stop was taking place, stuff that was being entered through, like, I can't remember exactly what the paper is I am. Like I said, I'm in the process of getting that all. I'm appealing to the supervisor, and then he vaguely gave me just cited statutes and codes, but he was supposed to tell me how and why I didn't even see the applies to the lead sections, which are failing to do because same thing with.
All right, so hold on. So what I'm hearing, I want you to confirm whether or not I'm hearing it correctly. I think what you just said was those comments section things that you want, they're telling you that's all lien stuff and it's protected.
Yeah, it's like, I had other.
Hold on. Is that a yes? That's what they're telling you?
Essentially.
Okay.
So, and part of the site, thing paper I got from them, they didn't do it in any of the other ones. Only
Hold on. Other one what?
all the because there have been several reports, several times the cops came out of our house, but we were told, well, this has been going on for all the years, probably why it's even happened.
Okay.
So I filed get all of every cop that had been there, all the reports, anything to do with anything that I could get that was in access to me. And then that's how I found out that these other reports weren't released to me. And then in my life checks, they did the same thing. Everything to do with.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around this just like the judge. So what I think he's talking about with the comments is that, so if somebody called me, I would say, yeah, what this police department, PSA KFAR, what's up? And they would give me an address, what was going on at the address, the run. I would create a run number, send that to the officer, would auto-generate what officer from that section would go to that call. It would throw up their name. And then as the run happened, they would add more things to the run, which was like, hey, we showed up. Like I would type in the first brick of information. Second, the officer would type in, oh, when we got here was actually one male, not the 3 reported, or 3 males, not the 1 reported. White male, and he would give a description, what they're wearing, blah, 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 blah. And it would go on the entire time. If more cars were added, it would say what car, what officer, what car, what officer, and then would give you the outcome. I don't know if that's FOIA-able, but it sounds like that's what he's talking about.
With that entire traffic stop, it's all completely redacted. Yeah, the other stuff is all open.
Redacted from,
The whole page is black.
hold on, redacted from the incident report?
Yeah, from the incident.
The paper report that you received?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And there was no justification involved. So why any of these things are redacted, I keep trying to, and how they did it with the policy. I tried to get the policy 3 separate times to the department, and then they cite these lien codes for names and addresses and stuff, which I understand there's certain stuff.
What policy?
The policy conduct for officer conduct and how the officer is supposed to operate themselves, right? So they denied several times, stating the same lead codes are trying to fix all these connections now. So I appealed it to the township supervisor, and he basically released all of my information. And it showed, the policy showed that these officers violated their policy. And
Okay, hold on, stop. So he released everything, but not everything you want?
well, then once I realized they were doing this, I went back to getting more. That's how I found out there was more stuff that was never released to me.
Okay.
And then they're doing the same process using these lien codes to not let me see what was put in this paper. And that's why it's all the American titles. I've been trying and fighting all this full time trying to get this stuff together. And I'm getting every which way I'm being screwed.
He's raising issues that concern me. Because now we're talking about discovery requests that are being partially fulfilled.
As you can see, as it is with this stop, he does have the incident report, he does have 911 camera for 4 officers in car, dash cam, what have you. He also personally took a video. I have it. There was no mutual discovery. He elected to use the FOIA route to take all this information. What he's referring to again is the CAD information where there is no material. None of that affects what the substance of the incident report or the body worn camera or anything of that effect. He's also talking about incidents that I think they were probably about the township attorney is dealing with it as opposed to the township prosecutor. There's probably about 20 different contacts that he has sought FOIAs through. So it's not just this incident. And what I suspect he's talking about where police may have came to his house or like a traffic stop or speeding ticket, there are no incident reports. Those are CAD notes. So that's probably why those are blacked out as opposed to this incident where a misdemeanor was attached and an incident report had to have been written.
Okay. Anything else as far as information you requested that you don't have that you think you need?
I mean, that's the base of it. I'm still actually, now that I've been having to really dig into stuff, I'm uncovering more now that I've been through the body cams. I have to file more to get more stuff unredacted because there is clear points in these conversations that were purposely redacted. They had nothing to do with main information that they keep claiming. Same thing with these cash keeps referring to. That's not what I'm trying to get hold of. And I understand that there are things that they can redact through the lien code. These entire things that are, there's no way the entire pages and these comments and everything are all lien information. And I know that I've been told.
How do you know?
I've been told for Sergeant Price, things that are said in these personally about me and stuff like that, that are being redacted because it can be used showing the bias and everything, retaliation against me. And I know for a fact what was said these things. That's why I know it being redacted is more than much saying.
Okay, showing bias again. Do you have a license or not? If they pulled you over for not having a license and you don't have a license, how is that bias? Oh, that's right. It's not. Like, do you have a license or not? It's the simplest thing to prove. They can say this guy's an idiot because he doesn't have a driver's license. That doesn't change the fact that you don't have a driver's license.
Okay. But Mr. Crucell, with all due respect, that all sounds like a civil lawsuit against the township.
Well, yeah, this is my argument. I'm trying to bring into this court, but everything's just being keep getting.
Because I'm not going to get into all that with a jury.
But it goes directly to this, is what I'm saying, and that's why I've been trying to get all of this stuff answered before we even got to this point.
I'm not going to let you get into all that with the jury. It's going to be confusing. We're going to go down rabbit holes.
That's why what's fair because I need to be able to present my case to fair.
So this case goes back to February. We set this trial 2 months ago.
You're right, but
2 months and 2 weeks.
I'm trying to get the jurisdiction established. I'm trying to get the judicial bias stuff taken care of. All of these things that have not that they just keep. It is what it is. Getting swept under the rug.
Okay, hold on. Once again, I have to take offense to that. I'm not sweeping your judicial bias argument under the rug. I'm denying it.
Without, I give it. Yes.
Okay. No, seriously. See, it doesn't matter what you have to say. If I'm determining bias, I know what my heart is. Now, you appeal that decision, or you grieve me to the Judicial Grievance Commission, right? They can look at all your facts and say, well, Oakley, clear bias. But I don't have to hear all your arguments and see all your evidence to know I'm not biased.
That's fine. I guess that's the when I have already started the process. I will be going down it. The more I look at it.
Okay.
So again,
Sir, it's 9:02. The jury's been here since, I'm assuming, shortly after 8. Some of them were showing up.
again, like I said, I cannot participate in something that I know is not, it is stacked against 100%.
Well, once again, you think it's stacked against you just because you don't agree with the way things are going. Okay.
How can something be stacked against you? It's literally, do you have a license or not? It's really that easy. It can't be stacked against you. It's simple. Do you have a license? No? Okay, well then you're guilty. Now he's trying to do the whole deny. Yeah. Oh, well, they were making fun of me. They were talking shit. There's a conspiracy with everybody else. Okay, what does that have to do with you not having a license? Oh, that's right. It doesn't.
So it shows that these things have to be established. That there has to be.
Then
You see, don't have bias, but that See, I mean,
Okay, stop. We're just hashing the same arguments again. If you're right, then you've got an automatic appeal if they convict you today. If you're right, and this whole thing has been nothing but a sham.
it has to be, and it's all this turned into.
Okay, bring the jury in. I'm tired of talking.
That's the motion will be real quick.
Motion who? Oh, I forgot you file a motion. Give me just a moment. Yeah. Yeah. Did you see that? Hold on. Did you get her motion? Yeah. No. Just, you got a copy. You can just at least show him so he can see if he's seen it before.
A sovereign citizen who pretends he doesn't get things from
When
the
did you
court.
send this to me?
Last Tuesday along with my.
I have never seen this.
Take a minute to look at it.
Let's like to bring up for the record too that.
Hold on. Hold on. Have you had a chance to look at what you just handed me? Okay. All right. So are you ready to argue that motion?
Well, no, I had no time to prepare for anything next time. I've never seen that before. And
Okay.
it's just trying to keep me from being able to bring up all my valid arguments that are all applied to this.
Once again, valid as you determine them,
It's advanced to the case.
as you say.
And that's, and they're the same with the things they're trying to say, right? They have no evidence. Where's the evidence, right?
Right. But I haven't ruled that anything she's trying to put in front of the jury is invalid.
So my defense to my.
Well, here, let's do it one at a time. She wants to stop you from saying anything about due process violations. Did you plan on telling the jury that your due process rights have been violated?
All part of this case.
Okay.
Same thing with all the way from the traffic stop all the way till now.
Specifically, what were you going to tell them about your due process violations?
Well, I don't have my defense completely in front of me because I'm trying to get all the other matters. I'm not ready for that. So I've never even seen it, so I can't even build up a defense to that to produce.
How was that provided to Mr. Crisell last week? Okay.
I received his motion, or his $109 motions on Thursday, so it didn't give me much time to respond. I did send it in the mail, I dropped it off at the post office. And I didn't receive his most recent motion.
That was filed Friday. Right.
I said on my certified mail, so I know what you're saying, but we've never had first class name. Never.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. If you decide to participate in presenting the evidence to the jury today, then if any of these A through E's come up, we'll deal with those as a point on a point by point basis. Understood? I'm not, sir, I'm telling you, you don't have to. She wants me to give you a blanket instruction right now that you can't talk about any of these things that are listed in this motion. I'm not going to do that. If you choose to present anything to the jury and one of these topics come up, she's going to stop me probably with an objection, say, Judge, could we talk about that? And then we'll talk about that. Item by item. Understood? All right. Anything else before we bring the jury in? You said you wanted to say something before the jury came in. I thought you said.
Another key point to this, I filed for records requests in court, trying to get all my court hearings and everything in recordings. There's still one from the very first one from Judge Martin that is crucial to this case. They still have issues.
How could it be crucial to the case today?
And rule in there, absolutely huge to all my whole.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
All of this.
No, sir, everything started on February 3rd, 2024, when your tickets were issued. So anything, let me answer. I'm trying to be patient, Mr. Crisell. Anything Judge Martin said at a hearing about those tickets after February 24th, or February 3rd, 2024 would not affect the facts of what happened on February 3rd. Agreed?
But it affects what is going on with this court as far as the fact that.
The only thing that's going on with this jury is deciding what facts took place on February 3rd and how they apply to the ordinances the township is trying to apply.
Yeah, then it's going on with that, but apparently it's in it. I'm not going to subject myself to sitting here through something that I know.
Then get up and leave, Mr. Crisell. You're not under arrest. I've already explained your options. I've tried to be as clear as I can with your options.
But like I said, I will not participate in this. There's clear, there's all sorts of stuff going on here. Yes.
I understand you feel that way, but I've got a trial scheduled today. Something's going to happen. Once again, if you get lucky, they find you not guilty and you're done with this stuff.
Can I take a minute to figure out what I want to do with this?
Absolutely. Oh, one thing I want to make clear. The civil infractions don't go to the jury. You understand that? That's a formal hearing. That's just between us. You understand that? We'll deal with that after the trial if we have a trial today. The misdemeanors will be in front of the jury. You understand that? Okay, take a minute. Make it quick, though. I hate to have the jury wait. Mr. Crisell,
Yes.
Mr. Bowditch is available. Doesn't cost you a thing just to get his opinion. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What we doing with Phoenix?
I suggest.
Yeah, you ready for Phoebish, the plea? Bring him in. You just push record and go.
Wasn't.
Ten small corporates and benchmark probably.
He's going to sue.
I hope. He's like Phillips. I tried to tell Phillips, like, look, dude, waive your jury and I'll let you talk about anything you want to talk about.
No sitting down in his future.
But he just, this thing that I don't like him. It's grasping eventually. He's not thinking right here. All right, I'm gonna go sign some stuff.
I'm gonna go sign some stuff.
Hey, try to get him in here, would you?
And we have our Monday, October 21st for our.
And then what I'm gonna try to do is convince him to do a bench trial, and I'll get him the whole freaking day. He can make all the arguments.
Oh, that's true, yes. So, because I was gonna say we can do the other one on that one.
So it'll be a special day.
Okay.
Security.
Hey, tell them they don't have to have a final decision. I just want to know if I can send the jury home.
Okay.
I got no problem giving you more time to talk, but if I'm letting the jury go, I just want to bring them in so I can talk to them and let them go. You can keep talking. You sure? All right. Bring the jury in.
So I go back here.
Yeah, keep talking. Keep talking. Hey, Jeff, come here. Mr. Crisell, I'm going to give him an idea to talk about with you.
Okay.
If you can listen to the Sean, I'll give him a whole fucking day for bench trial. He can bring every argument he's got. All but I will make her sit.
That's what I told him.
But I'm just not doing it with
I
him.
said, I wanted him to ask you politely to reserve his right to a bench trial.
Yeah.
And all of his information, he's going to get together.
Just let him know that that's what I wanted you to know.
And
Go tell him
I'm
that.
not going to represent, but I'm going to help him.
All right. Go tell him that I made that suggestion. So Caitlin, I gave him an option that if he'll pay the $300 court costs, security costs, I'll give him an adjourned date so he can perfect all his appeals that he says he wants to file, and we'll send the jury home.
But. Do you think he's gonna pay?
Oh,
He already owes us. Oh, he only owes us the money on these.
yeah, I think he'll pay. Is it hot in here or is it me?
No, it's just you, but.
Have a seat, folks. And Caitlin, you don't have to stay for this if you don't want to.
To your suggestion. When you litigate, he's taking that suggestion.
Yeah. And Bowditch has already suggested what? You do a jury trial, should have let him.
So what I think is happening is let me turn my camera back on. I think Romulus has some project they're trying to pay for, because I can only see this going horribly for the sovereign citizen, where he's just going to keep getting $100 charge into infinity. And this judge is like, I found a way to pay for our project.
Talk about anything you want to talk about, which is what I just called Jeff up to the bench and say, look, I'll give him a whole day. He can make his traveling arguments.
All right, back on the record with the People versus Crucell. All right, Mr. Crucell, I just want to put on the record the conversation that we had out in the hallway with Mr. Bowditch present. Outside of your hearing, by the way. That's for that. But I filled you in. So you've agreed you're going to pay your $300 contempt charge. I put that in air quotes. I'm going to apply that towards the cost to pay this jury panel for being here today. Agreed? In exchange, we're going to pick a date, hopefully in the next 2 minutes. We're going to pick a date, put this back on our calendar down the road to give you plenty of chance to perfect your appeals, whatever you want to appeal. Agreed? Okay. All right, you sit down. Okay. Now, but I have to say some other things. All right. Before I took the bench, I did a lot of court-appointed work. All right. So I know that a lot of times when a defense attorney is talking to their client, they've got to get over a mental hurdle, because a lot of people in a situation where the court did the attorney, they think the attorney's not working for them, the attorney's working for the court. So I want to make sure you understand how this works. Mr. Bowditch, although we've worked together for years, he doesn't work for me. Really, he doesn't even work at my pleasure. I suppose if all 3 judges in this court told the Michigan Indigent Defense Council Regional that he works for that we just don't want this guy in our courtroom anymore because he's just incompetent or whatever, they'd probably put him somewhere else. But other than something drastic like that, he's not here because I'm paying him and I've requested him. You understand that? Okay. His job, his client is MIDC. And I say his client because they pay him, but he's paid to represent folks in district court that don't have their own attorney. I just want to make sure you understand when he's giving you advice, he's not telling you what he thinks is best for me. He's telling you what he thinks is best for you. Okay. Now, the other thing, I'm assuming he brought my offer out to you. Listen, if you want to get into all those arguments that you've referenced today and the last time you were here, I'll give you that. I mean, I'll look at all the stuff you've got on the traveling argument, everything else, because what I told you earlier is I've got an open mind. Okay. I don't think in my heart of hearts you can convince me that your argument on traveling is a valid one, but I'll listen to everything you've got to tell me on that and every other issue. I mean, I'll give you an entire day set aside for a trial to do all that, but not with a jury. All right. So I want you to know that's an option. I'd like, and if you need to have some conversation with your family or Mr. Bowditch, I'd like a decision on that today, because when you walk out of here, I'd like to have a date on the calendar for either a bench trial or a jury trial. Okay. And I hope, based on my earlier conversations, you understand why I can be much more free and easy about what I let in when it's just me making the decisions than it is with a bunch of jurors. All right, Bowditch, go ahead.
Could we actually adjourn this? Now, Mr. Crucell and I have had a conversation. I think we can streamline this case quite a bit. Could we set another motion date? It's nothing that's been covered. We covered new ground.
Okay.
This would be a simple motion. With his understanding, it's yes. And then if we need to proceed to a bench trial, we would.
How far down the road?
Well, it depends on how long his discovery is going to take. If there's anything even possible to be retrieved, but I still do a month or so.
Probably a month is too tight.
Well, I know that's in the process. I've already appealed to the conference. I'm in the process.
Okay, hold on.
What more discovery do you need? Did you have a license or did you not have a license? Again, I've said it 50 times already. It's really that simple. My bet, because obviously this is going to be on YouTube again when he shows up in 2 months. I believe they end up doing it. Oh, shoot. I don't even remember the day. It's been 10 hours since I watched this. He's going to come. He's going to put these new motions on new ground in, and the judge is going to say, oh, this is exactly the same motion you just put in with extra steps. Like, why are you wasting everyone's time? I think these judges on YouTube know people watch, and they're like, I wonder how many people I can get watching this court case. And they just keep re-upping sovereign citizens.
I think so. October 21 is too tight, I think. October 21, I think is too tight. Time frame wise, you want to go into the next month?
We can, Your Honor, it's up to the courts.
I have no idea how that process is going to work, so I don't
I
know.
mean, I'm more time.
With what the court's done today and asking no favors.
No, you're not asking a favor. We're just scheduling a date.
Do you,
What is it?
that's a Monday before Tuesday.
Yeah, that was
We'll
safe.
open that day.
That'd be safe.
If Caitlin is.
Do you have an opening on Monday, the 25th? You're not scheduled.
Of November.
Just for a motion. This is just a motion hearing. We're not going to take testimony. Okay.
As long as you're not, no,
Don't-
you don't have them that month, Leslie.
So that'll work?
What's the date?
9 a.m., the 25th of November? It's the Monday before Thanksgiving. Nobody's got travel plans?
Motion date.
Okay. So I think what I'm hearing is you think that will either be dispositive or we'll set a trial date that day.
Yes, Your Honor, or we'll resolve.
Okay. All right.
I don't think they're going to resolve it.
Okay. I didn't ask. Can you pay the $300 today? Okay. And I implore you, keep talking to him. Keep talking to him. All right. Anything else? All right. We're adjourned. Yeah, go ahead.
Officers are here and
Yeah.
ready to testify.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah, I got her. Joe, I can hold this.
There's not on the computer. You've got not on the.
Did you turn off everything, Judge?
No, I will. I'll come back and do it. I don't want to set these down. I gotta prepare it for the staff.
Thank you. Yeah. So it looks like you don't have one in November, but you have the first one in December because of this. Yeah, because we're closed one of the days. So you actually have two in December. Just a heads up.
My other one between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, December 30th. So, I mean, if you maybe ask Al, say, hey, you can take the day off. So who covered today, Rob?
Dan.
Did he? Oh, so he changed what he did.
Yeah, there were 272 players scheduled, so I told him, congratulations. Don't try to keep up, just with the people in and out of your job.
So is he gonna
We can call that a stream. I feel like we can call that a stream. So let's bang, and then it's just me. There we go. All right, so that's the video. I think when he comes back, it's going to be more of the same. J. Carr said, "What a waste! Wasted a juror's days. Cops sitting around getting overtime to do nothing because this guy wasted time. Court staff for a ticket, 1,000% for a ticket. They should have just had it out right there. The jury was there. Just have it out. Again, it seems like it's shut, an open and shut case. Somebody said something else. Christian B in NC. I think the idea is if they stall and delay long enough, the court will just be glad to be done with it. This is what I don't understand. Like broken system, broken trust, for example. Put off this expired license ticket for months and months, maybe probably even like a year. Put it off, got arrested. I believe he put it off again, got a warrant, got arrested again. Finally had to deal with it. And they're like, oh, well, you served like X amount of days in jail already. And then he took a plea deal. Like what was that whole wasted time where you got the exact same charge you would have gotten if you'd have done this a year ago, 2 years ago? Like, why waste everyone's time? Because at this point, he's wasting his own time, where he has to keep coming into court over and over and over, where everything could have been done that day. But that's the video. I have to go make more videos now because I'm out for the weekend. But yeah, I'll find some more sovereign citizens. I'll make some more videos tonight. So if you're members, so I think 30 new members today, there'll be something waiting for you at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Several things more than likely. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this again. I'm going to start posting more stuff on the Rumble because Tyrants Beware is trying to move over there and can't get away that easy. But hopefully everybody enjoyed it.